This is Jennifer Dasal, Curator of Modern and Contemporary Art, and I am excited to be here with you today virtually to talk about Yayoi Kusama, who is unquestionably one of the most important as well as most popular artists of the 21st century. She has had a career that has spanned more than 6 decades, and she's received this unprecedented amount of both critical and popular acclaim for her work. And much of her inspiration for her artwork comes from a rather dark and a difficult place, which is her mental health problems, which really began in her childhood and are continuing throughout today. In her words, she says, quote, "My art originates from hallucinations only I can see. I translate the hallucinations and obsessional images that plague me into sculptures and paintings." Unquote. So an early idea for this hallucination, one of her first hallucinations, manifested itself in a field of dots. And so instead of becoming incapacitated by her illness and these different manifestations, she decided to transform that into art as both a creative treatment and a solution for her mental illness. So her use of dots in her artwork really became this repetitive motion that quickly manifested into an obsession. And so for some of her large-scale works of art beginning in the 1960s, she would use anywhere from hundreds of thousands of dots all over her works of art. And she's really compared to polka dots, this field of dots, as her way to explore infinity. And so the concept of infinity has really been this consistent preoccupation for Kusama ever since the 60s. Among her most well-known and certainly her most celebrated works are what she has called her infinity rooms, which are these mirror-lined, kaleidoscopic works of art with these seemingly endless reflections that create these amazing illusions of infinite space. And then they also confound us as viewers in terms of our perceptions of the limits of space and time. In a wonderful way, she has compared this to being the illusion of life in our very transient world and thinking about the ideas of the eternal and the infinite. And so our work of art, which is a piece called Light of Life, it was made in 2017, is one of the artist's most recent smaller iterations of the infinity room. So it is a mirrored box that's a hexagon, and it has 3 openings or portals at different heights. And there's one opening on every other side of this hexagonal box. And so it invites us as viewers to look inside this room in these 3 separate spots. The view itself reveals this incredible multitude of small little light bulbs, and they are constantly changing in terms of their flashing and also the colors that they show off in this wonderfully mesmerizing and very hallucinatory sequence that lasts about 2 minutes long, and then it repeats over and over again until the work is turned off. And all of these lights are multiplied by mirrors that line the entirety of the box. So not only all the walls, but also the top and the bottom. So your reflection when you look inside, and also the reflection of all the light bulbs, is then repeated on and on and on in all these mirrors towards the bounds of our visual understanding. So we can never see the end point. It is a manifestation of the infinite. And so it's this wonderfully dazzling, but also very disorienting light show. And what's really interesting is that you're sometimes alone in experiencing this idea of the infinite, but then sometimes it becomes this wonderful communal experience where suddenly, if you're looking in through one of the portals, a face of another visitor may pop up, and so it disrupts your imagined infinite and private space, but then you also get the opportunity to share this vision of wonder and amazement with someone else and have this wonderful communal experience. So it really allows us to think about things beyond the realm of our own thoughts and our own humanity and towards bigger concepts like time and space and, of course, the eternal. And it's really wonderful because so rare is it that we find a work of art that draws us to contemplate such huge and almost unanswerable questions, and do so in a manner that can be enjoyed by someone who is 2 years old all the way up to being 90 years old. It's the most playful, simple, yet incredibly deep work of art.